Yeah, you know what time it is. It is a milkman, and as you guys know, my channel revolves around like the university experience within the Toronto area, as well as the Ontario area, and as well as cultural things within the city, around the city, etc. But I want to introduce you guys to a tool that I stumbled upon on the internet, and it's called the Toronto Hood slash Gang Map. Okay, and you're probably wondering, well, Milkman, how is this going to help me if I'm just going to university? I'm going to get into that. I'm going to show you. This could be a real invaluable tool. But before we do that, I have to give credit where credit is due. I want to show you guys who actually put in the time and effort in creating this map. Okay, so now in order to find it, all you have to do is type in Torontology, and the first page you'll get is Toronto Entertainment Reddit page, right? So once you hit that, it'll be the Toronto Hood slash Gang Map. You hop right into that bad boy. And so credit where credit is due, like I said. First, you want to give a shout out to OldmanFlapcakes, right? And he also shouted out a couple people that were very vital into the contribution of this Toronto map, this Toronto Hood map. So there's also user M0Z69, and he or she mapped out the overwhelming majority of the hoods and the gangs. There is also user BlueHellDino, and they helped with mapping out the murders and writing some of the descriptions. Okay, now they also added a disclaimer with this map, and what the disclaimer is that it is not meant to glorify shootings or to stigmatize communities that are already stigmatized. Many Toronto hoods have a strong sense of community and have other good things about them, but this map is meant to show the bad things. Shootings and murders will be updated on a weekly basis. So this is for people who maybe want to keep up to date with what is happening with certain locations that maybe they're looking into. And this is what I mean, that it could be very invaluable to you. So let's say, for example, you're coming from another country, or let's say you're leaving home, right? And you're about to move closer to an institution that you're enrolled in. What you could use this map to do is kind of have some sort of reference to see how is the area surrounding that university. So I'm going to show you a couple examples. Why don't we open up the map itself? So wow, so this is what the map looks like, right? The first thing we see is a whole bunch of points, icons. We see blue pistols as icons and different colored location icons. Now, let's click into the disclaimer to see what this map is basically trying to tell us. So, disclaimer, this map is not meant to glorify gangs and violence. We went over this a bit earlier. Note, this map doesn't show the area of control or influence that a gang has. I think this is very important to know, actually. It is merely meant to show which blocks or buildings the gangs are mainly based in. The only exception to this rule is neighborhoods like Parkdale and Vaughan and Oakwood, which are heavily gentrified. Okay, they've stated that gang territories are colored after their gang color. Red and blue most likely means blood and crip. Okay, now if a turf or a marker is colored yellow, then it could mean that the gang's color is yellow, or the gang doesn't have a color at all. The only exception to this rule is St. Jamestown, which is colored white since they rep white. Now, black markers indicate a defunct or an active gang. So they even documented gangs that are no longer active to their knowledge. Okay, also a marker that has a gun symbol, so we see a lot of gun symbols here, represents a shooting. So if it is blue, it's a non-fatal shooting, while fatal shootings are actually red. I'm assuming one. Oh, we see one over here like hiding in the cut, so that's a red one. So that's a fatal one, right? When you click on a point, it gives a description of the shooting. If there's no description, that means the news did not report on the shooting. Now let's get into how is this going to be useful for someone if they're planning to go to a university, or if they're planning to go to school. So let's say, for example, I'm about to leave home. I tell Mom Dukes, hey, listen, I'm leaving home. I'm going to university. I'm going to live on res. I'm going to live on campus. So what I'm going to do is type in York University, right? And I'm going to check the map. So as I scroll out a little bit, what I see is, okay, well, York University is within this general area. So Keel and Pond Road, Keel Finch, right? Keel and Steele. So let me see, are there any gangs that are active around the York University area according to the Toronto Hood map? I'm going to go back to the Toronto hood map and type in, let's say, Keel and Steeles, because those are the main roads that intersect. So I'm going to hit enter. So Keel and Steeles. So as we scroll out, you know, nothing. Not even any shootings. We don't see any shootings here. You know, just usual. We see a subway station, Pioneerville. But hold on a sec. We see blue. So what could blue possibly mean? So as I click blue, we see North Driftwood Avenue / Woods. So I guess this is the name of the block, North Driftwood Avenue. Now, mind you, again, York University is right here. So if, let's say, for example, I just got a new MacBook, right? And I'm just strolling along, down. I think this is Shoreham Drive, right? Yeah, Shoreham. I'm strolling along Shoreham, minding my own business. I have a new MacBook. I have the new iPod, AirPods, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just walking down Shoreham. Little do I know that I'm walking within a Driftwood set. Now, again, going back to the disclaimer, it was indicated that this is not to say that they control these areas. It is just to say that it is understood or it is believed that they mainly live in these places. The members live in these places. We don't know. All right. So they give you a description. So now you're a bit knowledgeable on some of the communities in the area. So that is just York University, right? So maybe that's just one school in Toronto. So let's try another one. The infamous University of Toronto. University of Toronto. So University of Toronto. Where is University of Toronto? Let's see. So we have Dufferin and Steeles. Is that the downtown location? No. So let's say University of Toronto, St. George. St. George Street, Ontario. So this is on Spadina and Bloor. So Spadina and Bloor, let's use that as a reference point, right? So I'm going to go back to the Toronto hood map and I'm going to look for Spadina and Bloor, right? Zoom out. And let's see. So Spadina and Bloor, as you see, Department of Sociology, University of Toronto. So as I zoom out, it is you don't see too many colors in University of Toronto. Remember, black meant that the gang is probably inactive or they're defunct. So let's see, Christy Pitts. So this is a home of the Christy Pitts boys. I guess this was a mainly white gang. And the LA boys, which was a mainly Latino gang. They used to be big rivals, but are mostly inactive. Yes, that's what I said. So there are 0 shootings in Toronto so far. So the closest to UofT that I indicated was that gang, Spadina and Bloor. And there's nothing, there's no action there. Let's go a little bit further down to the south. And we see there is Alexandra Park, MG4L. So this is Alexandra Park is one of the most well-known projects in Toronto. It's also one of the first gangs to claim blood. They're pretty active, and there have been 5 shootings in 2020 so far. So this is just, again, this is just south of UofT, south of Bloor and Spadina, right, which was right here. So if I just get out of Spadina Station and walk south, let's say maybe about 15-20 minutes. This is Kensington Park. This is at Dundas and Spadina, right? You'll see that there's some activity going on there. It indicates their ops, allies, which is Driftwood. So yeah, and it shows non-fatal shootings that occurred. There was a shooting here. A male was shot on March 3rd, 2020 at 4 a.m. Very informative. On July 3rd, 2020, I think that's July 3rd, or it could be March 7th, 2020, 6:45, there was another fatal shooting. So, yeah, if I was going to UofT, then I would know, like, okay, so around St. George campus, there's probably not too much activity. All right, so let's try one more thing, right? So let's say, for example, now, like I said, I'm coming from another country. I said I want to go to university in Toronto, but I decide, you know what? I don't really want to live on campus. I want to live a little bit off campus because I want to get to know the city. I want to be in tune with the city. I want to assimilate with the people that live here. So one way we could do that is, or one way you would probably do that is look for accommodations within the city. So I'm going to look for Toronto rooms for rent, okay? So I'm going to go to, what is it, Zumper.com? So I'm going to go to Zumper.com. So we have a room here for rent in Toronto, 165 Clifton Avenue. So in the Toronto hood and shooting map, I'm going to go back and type in 165 Clifton Avenue, North York, right? So that's M3H4L6. Let's see. Yep, same postal code. And let's see what activity is around this area. So this is a house, 165 Clifton Avenue. As I scroll out, wow, this is a nice area. So this is Bathurst Manor. Now, so look at, there's a lot of colors around the area, and there seems to be a bit of, non-fatal shooting activity. So let's click non-fatal shooting, September 26th. Two men and two women were involved in a heated dispute with another group when one of the men took out a pistol and shot it at another group. So let's now go for 27 4-wins, right? So, or you know what? No. So that was $760 a month for 165 Clifton Avenue. So let's maybe up the ante a little bit. $1,600 a month for a room. So this is 1 LZ Lane in Toronto. Let's see if we pay that much money, what are we getting out of it? So 1 LZ Lane. It was 1 LZ Lane, right? Okay. So 1 LZ Lane. So we go to 1 LZ Lane. Wow, this is right in the heart of a block that is known to have, or that is believed, I should say, to have some sort of activity. Now, again, according to the map, not to say that this is owned or controlled by these members, but just to say that, it is believed that people live in this area. So this is Pelham Park Bloods, SUM. So home to a gang that are known as the Pelham Bloods, with gang activity is still common, with a shooting happening somewhat close to this hood, with over the past few years having multiple shootings. So they're Ops, Woolner, SDM, C3, Allies, Ardwick, Regent, Southside, Jane and Finch, BO, SUM. So again, it has the rappers that you can look into if you want. And is this all Pelham? Yes, it is. So as someone who's paying $1,600, you're right into the heart of, Pelham, right? I forget where it was, but it took us right here. So again, a good reference tool, in my opinion, if you guys are interested, like I said, just go to the Torontology Reddit page, and then you just click this link to pull up the Toronto hood map. So again, we have to give credit. So credit goes out to OldmanFlapcakes, user OldmanFlapcakes, who put this page together. Also to M0Z69, who mapped out the overwhelming, as he said, majority of the hoods and the gangs. And user BlueHellDino, who also helped map out the murders and writing of some of the descriptions. If you pull up this map and you don't see your hood or your gang in there, I'm assuming that you could contact any of these gentlemen and let them know, hey, you guys forgot us, if you're looking for a bit of clout, right? Otherwise, if you are coming to Toronto and you just want, or if you're not even from Toronto, or if you are living in Toronto and you want to just brush up your knowledge on some of the activity that's going on in the city, you could definitely refer to this. And it's a good read from what I see, and it's very informative. They lay everything out for you guys. So again, I hope this helps out, people who are thinking of moving out to university. You could use this even with Ryerson. If you're thinking about going to Ryerson, you may want to pull this map up as well. So we have UofT, even the colleges. If you want to go to Seneca College, Centennial College, George Brown, pull this map up and see, is there anything that may strike your eye, or anything that's happening within the region. Anyways, so it's a milkman. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and I'm off this. Easy, fam.